Hi, I'm Amy Hannon, and nothing thrills me more than people and food. I'm a preacher's wife, a mom of 3, and I own my own specialty kitchen store. I've kept an open door and a well-stocked fridge, which means I have fed a lot of mouths over the years. So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. I'm so excited to share this recipe with y'all today. This is such a family favorite, and it is super duper easy. And we make a lot of easy recipes on this show, but this is certainly one of them. These are grilled flatbread pizzas, and I'm gonna actually show you how to make it a couple of different ways. This, y'all, is one of those, you know, those nights when, I talk about this a lot because it's my life. Busy, working, your family is hungry, you don't really know what to eat. This is one of them. This is super duper easy. It's also great for just, I don't know, really casual dinner parties with your friends. You can actually make these little pizzas ahead of time, like we can grill these little crusts and put out a kind of like a little toppings bar. And you can actually have people build their own pizzas. It's super easy. The nice thing too is that you can actually make these little grilled flatbreads early, like first. Let them just sit there and wait until it's time for your dinner or your party. So it's kind of got some really good little tips. Makes it a super easy go-to meal for any night and for any event, really. Starting with a store-bought pie crust. Isn't that the best? I have a homemade pie crust recipe. It's really, really good. But y'all, you can't beat this, especially when we're about to put this on our grill pan, which we actually have preheating. I'm using my Staub grill pan today, and it is such a workhorse. It's another cast iron piece. You know, cast iron is king around here. And I've got that preheating so that we get those little ridges nice and hot, because we want to have these grill marks on these pieces of dough. Okay, so what I did is I've just got my cutting board I always use, and I have just sprinkled a little bit of cornmeal right down here, just so that this kind of has a little roll to it. It doesn't stick. Gives it a little bit of grit on the underneath side. Okay, and this is really good. This is something that is newer from this particular brand of refrigerated pizza dough. It's thin crust, which I really, really love. I don't just love that thick crust one, you know, but this one is thin, and I really love the way that it crisps up really, really well. I'm not a super bread person anyway. My family knows I always eat all the pizza up to the crust, and then I hand that off to somebody else. So I really like the thinner crust that this one is. Okay, so I've kind of patted this out just a little. It's super loose. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to grab my knife, and I'm just going to cut it into quarters. So we're going to make 4 different pieces. Okay? You could, gosh, I don't know, you could cut squares, or like I'm doing, or you could do circles, or you could do whatever you really want. If you wanted to kind of wad all this up and press it out into kind of an oblong free form, do whatever floats your boat. But this is just about as easy as it gets. Look at that. Okay? So I'm going to let these sit for just a few minutes. Let me tell you about the toppings that we're going to have. We are going to do a classic, just a pepperoni pizza with fresh mozzarella and a little red sauce and a yummy little basil chiffonade at the very end. Chiffonade is a fancy word for rolling up the leaves and cutting into little strips. Easy. I'll show you how to do that. I'm also going to do a really simple pizza that is just pesto and mozzarella. And I use store-bought pesto. You can make your own pesto. We can do it someday on the show. But for quick and easy, there are some awesome store-bought pestos that you can, you know, get at the grocery. I also, let me run over here and turn my skillet on low. I'm also making a fancier pizza that is caramelized shallots with a little bit of goat cheese and a little bit of prosciutto and arugula at the end. It's the girly fancy pizza that my husband and the boys would not eat, but me and my daughter would. They'll eat the pepperoni and the hearty ones, and we're gonna eat the ones that are like green and leafy and pretty and have the fancy cheese on it. It's really, really good, super easy. The nice thing about all of this is that you can make whatever topping you want any way you want it. You can make the crust ahead, like I said, whatever. This is super easy, but I wanted to show you probably the best part is this crust on this grill pan, okay? So let me touch my heat, make sure that I've got that on. Yep, here we go. My grill pan is smoking, I can already see that. And I have my oven already preheated to 450. It's pretty high, so you want to give your oven plenty of time to get up to that temperature. Okay, ready? So we have our pieces here, and all I'm going to do is give them a little drizzle of oil. And then I've got my little brush here, and we're just going to give it a little brush around, okay? Because what this is going to do is keep it from sticking to our grill pan. And it's a whole lot easier to just brush the oil onto these pieces of dough than it is to try to brush all those little ridges. So this way we've kind of covered all of our bases, okay? Easy. And now you want to season every step. So we're going to do a little salt and pepper on all of these just to have a little flavor in there, a yummy, salty, crackery, crusty bite. And then when we come back, we're gonna grill these up, work on our toppings, and start making these beautiful pizzas 4 ways. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back. We're making grilled flatbread pizzas today, starting with our store-bought crust. This actually came in the roll in the refrigerated section, but you could also actually go to a lot of kind of the more gourmet groceries may actually have a pizza dough that comes like in a container. You could even go and get that as well, especially if they sell pizzas there. They may sell you a little roll of it as, you know, for you to take home. That would be so good and easy, wouldn't it? Okay, so we have these oiled and salt and peppered. I have my grill pan preheated. That was a hard one, say that 3 times. And I have a little tiny bit of oil in the bottom of a non-stick skillet. And I have actually just cut some little thin slices of 3 or 4 shallots for us to do some caramelized onions so that we can put them on top of our pizza. So I've got my skillet over here on kind of low heat, medium low. I don't want that oil to fry the onions. I just want them to slowly cook them till they get nice and tender, and you know how they just wilt and they look so good and they get that good color. So that's what I've got going over here. So I'm just gonna kind of cut these apart, not really cut them, just kind of tap on them. You know how the little rings come apart. Okay. Gosh, that little lavender, this is girl comment. Girls will understand. Look at that cute like white and lavender in that fun new skillet of mine. Isn't that a cute color? All that? Do y'all do that? Hope I'm not the only one that looks to see how pretty the food looks in the skillet. All right. So I'm going to just eyeball that and make sure that it stays, you know, looking good, and we'll stir them around a little. So I have my preheated grill pan, and I haven't put anything on it because I've oiled these dough, you know, these dough pieces. So I'm going to, when I put them on, I'm going to turn them over so that the grilled, you know, the side that we've oiled is actually what goes onto the grill pan. Okay? And I'm going to lay this on with my fingers. Now look, I am, and because I'm not touching the skillet, as soon as I lay that down, I'm going to give it just kind of a little spread out, because the dough kind of seizes up and pulls in a little bit, and I kind of want to make sure that it kind of stays nice and spread out. You'll also see, I'm going to grab a kitchen towel real fast. You're going to also see that I've laid that on the grill marks, or on the grill pan, kind of at an angle instead of squared up, because then it puts kind of those neat diagonal grill marks on the bread. And that's what makes it kind of pretty, looks a little bit fancy, but it's just really easy. I mean, that's just a matter of laying it down. No skill required, that's a freebie. Okay, so I've got these going. Now listen, this is just gonna cook. We're gonna cook both sides. You don't have to oil both sides. And I only salt and pepper one side, as a matter of fact. So once this just kind of browns and cooks, I'm going to kind of lift the corners just to make sure that those marks are nice and dark and that it feels like it's really, kind of getting crisp under there. These are going to, after we top them, these are going to go into the oven. So the crust doesn't have to get 100% cooked through or totally browned right here, because we're going to put them in a 450-degree oven. And then like even the good stuff, like the little bit of like grease from the pepperonis and the liquid from the cheese, is going to kind of keep cooking that down. It's going to get nice and dark and crackery and crispy in the oven. So but what we're looking for here is dark brown grill marks, maybe even a little black. So don't be afraid to like get it nice and dark. And then we're going to flip it, turn it at the angle. You know how that goes. And then we're just going to do the same thing with all the crusts. And I'm looking at my shallots over here. We need to get the heat up on those a little bit. They need to be simmering away. I'll keep watching those. I've turned the heat up on those just a little. Okay, let's check this guy. And I'm using my flat. This is my fish turner. I love this. I use it all the time. Just to kind of get under here and separate. It's got a really, really thin metal edge on it. So you've seen me. I use this thing for everything, and I have these at Unimaze. They are the best. Okay. I'm going to get this under, and then I'm going to turn. Oh, look! Isn't it pretty? Isn't it so pretty? Do y'all get excited about that like I do when it just is perfect? Especially when it's like kind of anybody's guess and it's hidden under there and you don't really know what it's going to look like when you flip it. And then you're on TV and you're hoping it works out just right. So it's always a big celebration when it works. Okay, so this is what we want to keep going. We're going to repeat that with all of our crusts that we've covered. And then we're going to move them back over here and start working on all of our toppings. I have a little sizzle going on these. So I'm going to let these keep cooking down a little bit. And then let's talk about our other toppings real quick. We have some sliced mozzarella cheese and some pepperoni that I've kind of got out already and easy to separate. And I have some prosciutto. And then we're going to chiffonade our basil and get everything ready. When we come back, we're going to top these pretty, pretty pizzas and put them in the oven. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. We're making grilled flatbread pizzas. We've already grilled our store-bought pizza dough that came in the long refrigerated tube. Look how pretty they are. Aren't they beautiful? They smell so good, that little burned, crispy, crackery bite. And we brushed them with olive oil and salt and pepper. So we've got a good base going on here. So I want to show you a couple of different ways to make pizzas. You can choose your favorite. You can make them all. I kind of mentioned one time, earlier on, how fun it would be to have a pizza party. You could do this much and let them cool and kind of stack them and then put out a toppings bar, and let people make their own. You could also make all of these pizzas and then cut them into quarters and then put them in the middle of like a neat big board of some kind and put a big pretty salad right in the middle, so people could make a little salad and then grab kind of whatever piece, kind of get like a sample of each one, just kind of whatever. But you've got lots of options with these little guys. Let's go classic first. How about that? On this one, this is just a store-bought marinara sauce. And I don't like to just go sauce crazy. I think sometimes it just kind of takes away. I like for it to kind of accent the meat and the cheese, but I don't want it to be soggy. So I'm giving it just a nice little thin spread. You can make your own sauce with your summer tomatoes if you would like to. Or you can just buy store-bought. Makes it easy. And then we're a pepperoni family. What do y'all like? You could do Italian sausage, you could do mushrooms, whatever, but I'm going straight up pepperoni on this one. It is our family's go-to favorite. These are just store-bought pepperonis. Now I'll tell you, you can buy turkey pepperonis. They make them, and that would make this a little bit of a healthier option. But because they're healthier, they don't have the grease in them, and the grease is what makes this really, really good. I'm going to be real honest with you. It's what crisps that crust underneath, and it helps kind of mesh in with that cheese. So you might try it with the whole ones first. And then what I have here is fresh mozzarella that I've gotten at the grocery. And it comes in a long, kind of a long log, usually where the specialty cheese is, not where like the bagged cheese is. And it comes sliced like this. So mozzarella is a pretty wet cheese. So what I do is always take the slices apart and then just lay them out on a paper towel just to kind of get the extra moisture out. If you do not do that, then there's going to be a lot of wet on your pizzas, and we don't want that. So we've got one pepperoni made right there. And then this one, I'm going to do a pesto pizza. This one is for Grace Hannon. She loves pesto so much, which is just a really yummy blend of like Parmesan and basil, some oil, some nuts. It's so delicious. Look how pretty that is with that dark, like those dark grill marks. This is just a store-bought pesto, and I'm gonna spread that around here. Y'all, this smells so good. This would even be good kind of dolloped on the end of all of them, like a little extra topping. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do layers of cheese. Now, real mozzarella is a little bit different than, normal. You don't wanna cover every single square inch of the top of your pizza with cheese, because these little discs are gonna kind of melt and stretch, and this is the chewy cheese that when you take the bite, it goes like this, the strings. Oh, so good. So there's two. Look at that. How easy is this? Now, here's our fancy girly pizza. I'm gonna take this flatbread, give it a little drizzle. Remember, we have our caramelized onions, our little shallots that we cooked in our skillet to get them nice and wilty. Oh, look at those. And by caramelizing the onions, it brings out all the sweet, that natural sweet. It kind of takes away that little sting that an onion might have. Oh my gosh, y'all, I want that one. It smells so good. And that one doesn't have a sauce on it. It just has the olive oil on it. And then on this, I'm just gonna flake off some chunks of goat cheese. You could use blue. You could kind of do whatever you want on this one. This is delicious. We're gonna top this one with prosciutto and arugula at the very end. And I'm just gonna do these yummy, wet crumbles right on top. And then this last one, I just thought this might be kind of fun. We kind of winged this idea. I think, what about cinnamon sugar? Wouldn't that be delicious? Oh, almost like a little dessert pizza. I think that might be awesome. So I've just made a little smear of butter and cinnamon and sugar, and we're gonna just brush that on right on top. And on this goat cheese that I've just crumbled, you can do, this is your pizza. So top it with whatever cheese you like or however much that you want. It's up to you. Look how pretty these are. We're gonna transfer these over here to a rimmed baking sheet. And bake them in a 450-degree oven for about 5 minutes or so. You wanna really be watching, okay? Ooh, here's my cinnamon sugar smear. You wanna really be watching, but we're gonna put them in the oven and we're gonna watch them until they're nice and melty and bubbly, and we're gonna take them out and top them. Smells good in here. This is Cooking Today. Hi, we're back. We have just taken out the most beautiful grilled flatbread pizzas from the oven. Did you see these? Look how pretty they are, y'all. There's our classic pepperoni one with just a bunch of good melted mozzarella. Here's our pesto pizza with mozzarella. And then there's that yummy caramelized. This is our fancy girly one, our caramelized shallots with goat. So we're gonna dress these up real quick. Oh, and we did our cinnamon sugar one that's behind us. And I actually cooked that one on its own sheet pan because it's kind of wettish and drizzly and all that, and we don't want our savory and our sweet to get all mixed up. So we did that one. We were thinking, wouldn't it be so good to cut that into strips and dip it in like a yummy little powdered, sugary, milky icing? Okay, this is a little basil chiffonade. Roll the leaves. Oh, beautiful. Roll the leaves and just cut them into little strips. And then this is our beautiful, we'll call this one done. Gorgeous. Look at that. Now we're going to dress this beautiful shallot and goat We'll go ahead and move our pesto over. Do you see how beautiful and dark the crust went ahead and got? Nice and golden. So here we have our shallots and our goat, and I have just a few pieces of prosciutto that we're gonna ribbon on here. Top it with a handful of delicious, tender baby arugula. I'm just gonna do these little ribbons right on top. And then top it with that arugula. You could even drizzle another little bit of olive oil. If you have truffle oil, then truffle oil on top of this, or even on that little pepperoni one. Or just top these, y'all, with a little bit of sausage, whatever you want, just cheese. It's your family and it's your supper, whatever you like. Easy as it can be. Look at this beautiful restaurant quality pizzas. Aren't they pretty? And look at this arugula right on top. That is a pretty one. You just want to cut, 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 and serve and eat. Oh my goodness, isn't that fun? Easy, easy flatbread pizzas that you can make at home for your family. Hope you'll try it. Love every bite. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh.